All right, we are live. This is the very first live stream on Caleb's Kung Fu Cinema. I am super excited because what better way to start it than with the grandfather of the Asian cinema circle. I say grandfather because it's older.
Easy, we're just starting. You call me a grandfather already? Luke, you are my son.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Our first live stream. I'm here with Leon from Hong Kong and beyond. Say hello to everybody, Leon.
Hi, everybody. Good to be here with Kaleb. This has been a long time coming, and it's nice to finally be here and sit down, shoot the breeze.
Yeah, definitely. This is the well, I don't know. I don't know if I would say first ever Asian Cinema Circle live stream because I think maybe what I did with Flip and with Sean and with Dragon, I think that might kind of be the first Asian Cinema Circle live stream.
I think that counts. There's enough members in there, and I think we can count Sean in. I mean, everybody in the circle knows him, loves him. Great podcast, great guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I guess you could say this is the second Asian Cinema Circle live stream. We got to get more people on this in the future. I think I can.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I think I can do probably. I think this thing lets me do at least 6 people at a time. So definitely get more people in there next time.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's enough of us and plenty to say all around, so it'd be good to get the guys in. Like I guess we kind of started with popping up in each other's videos a little bit, and that'd be nice to keep that going too. Just for a bit of fun, make it a bit of interesting. And by the way, 10 out of 10 for your acting. That was pretty superb.
I was whenever I was doing that, I was kind of I would hit record on my phone. I had to edit everything a little bit, but I would just hit record, and then I would take a couple of seconds to kind of get in the zone, and then I would just say my line, and then I would just cut the rest of it out. so I was trying to make it look. I was trying to make it look convincing, but also I think I was maybe kind of hamming it up a little bit.
It was good. It worked really well. I mean, if you've seen how much footage I've got on the cutting room floor, it's unbelievable. I mean, Shaz likes to retake and retake and retake because, and I'm just like, for God's sake, let's just get something done. But yeah, it's good because it gives us plenty for the Christmas episode, which is quite cool.
Yeah. I'm kind of that way too, like, because I'll do a lot of retakes. I've done a lot of videos where I'm trying to start talking and then I screw up and I'm like, wait, no, I need to do that again. That was bad.
Yeah, I've done it. Well, I've gone off on a complete tirade before, and there's no way I can put some of those videos up because I just completely lose it and I need to just blow out. So I just do, and then after that, kind of settle, and it's okay. That's good. We're good to go.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I told Leon before we started recording, this is going to be we're just really here to just kind of talk, it's just sit and talk. But there are a couple of bullet points I have. I thought there were a few things that we could touch on and just have a little bit of fun with. For starters, today's Jackie Chan's birthday, or at least where I am. It's a same day as you though, right?
Happy birthday, Jackie.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, we're still on the 7th.
Okay. All right. I still get the time a little mixed up. You're 6 hours ahead of me.
That's it. Yeah, 6 hours.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, we got hang on one second. We got a question here. Yes, from Eric. Hello, Eric. Do you think 88 Films will ever release more Shaw Brothers? I sincerely hope so.
I think so. I mean, they've had such success with it, and it's just growing all the time. I mean, I think it's only a matter of time before they, try and get some more titles. There's such a big catalog, as you and I know, and yeah, as soon as they get the rights to some, I mean, they've had so much success recently. spreading the wings a little bit and getting different titles, more category 3 titles, more Hong Kong comedies and stuff. But I'm sure they will go back when they feel it's appropriate and hopefully get their hands on a few more.
Yeah, definitely. I've talked about it before, but I think one of the biggest things I want is Avenging Eagle. That's a great movie. I really want a Blu-ray of that.
Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites. That T Long, Fu Sheng, and that it's just so good, so good. I love the weapon fights and it, the whole look of it, and it's one of my favorite directors too. It's Sun Chung, and he's done so many good films. Such a good director. You ever seen City War?
City War? I have not.
Yeah, City War. Oh, you'll like that. That's T Lung and Chow Yun Fat, also directed by Sun Chung, but it was after Shaw Brothers. Really good film. Yeah, you'll like that one for sure. Put it down on your list.
Yeah, I have heard of it. I know what it is, and as you know, I'm getting more into the heroic bloodshed stuff, so I definitely plan to check it out.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I've been like really pleased to see the way you've like developed and you're spreading and researching other areas now. It kind of takes me back to when I was your sort of age, and it's like reliving old times, and it's cool to see you doing, a similar path to what I did. And it just was all about the kung fu when I started, but now it's like so much more, and I just can't stop exploring.
Yeah, same. Um, I was as I was saying a moment ago, today is Jackie Chan's birthday. So happy birthday to Jackie! And I thought it would be cool if we talked a little bit about Jackie just for a little bit. I just watched your review of Right On, like right before we started this, and that's a really good review, by the
Okay.
way. Yeah, uh, it's I hope I get to see that movie soon because I like what you had to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's a great movie. Sometimes I get a little bit saddened when you look on a social media and people start sharpening the knives before they've even seen the film, and you think, well, just hold your horses a little bit, because we're really really lucky that he's still making films and that he's still putting in the effort to entertain his audience. And you know, if we don't go and support these films and the actors and what they do, it worries me that we won't get them. We won't get them anymore because the support's not there. And if people are always moaning about, oh, it's not as good as it used to be, well, of course it's not. I mean, he's 69 now, but he's still got a lot to offer. And a film like Ride On, with the director that they had, there's a lot in it. And if you're a Jackie Chan fan, like you and I are, and the rest of the team, then there's plenty in there for you to dig into and enjoy. And I just think I like to search for the positives in any film. That's I'm a kind of a glass half full kind of guy. So I'll look for the positives, and there was plenty of positives in that. Me and Shaz had a great time watching it. It really is a good film.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, Jackie was very instrumental in my uh, my introduction, I'll say, to kung fu movies. I remember I've talked about this before a couple of times, like especially when we did our Asian Cinema Circle Origins series.
That was
Um,
good.
yeah, uh, the very first Jackie Chan movie I ever saw was Spiritual Kung Fu, and I still love that movie. It's really really crazy, but it's a lot of fun. I have fun with that movie every single time.
Yeah, I like that one. I like all the Lo Wei movies. Because when I was young, I think the first one that I actually saw and realized it was Jackie Chan film was Armor of God. And I actually didn't like it the first night I watched it. But then overnight, I woke up and it's like I need to watch that again. And because my mind was all channeled into Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and ninja movies, which was my thing growing up. And then the penny just dropped, and it's like, oh my God, look what this guy's doing. I've never seen this before, the stunts as well as the kung fu. I guess I never looked back ever since then, but I didn't realize that I'd actually seen him earlier because I'd seen Cannonball Run, and I didn't join those dots up till a little bit later on. And then when I was looking for Jackie Chan movies, there was no like internet as such. So I'd just go down to the video shop, and sometimes you'd find a different video shop and there'd be a different Jackie Chan movie in there. And you look at the artwork, and the artwork for the Lo Wei films was fantastic. And yeah, Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin, that was like massive for me. I used to hire that film out so many times.
Yeah, excuse me. I saw Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin. God, it's been maybe a month since I watched that. It was on it's on the Jackie Chan collection from Shout Factory. And I watched that. I think that might have been the second movie I watched on the set, and I really liked it. I thought the fight choreography, sorry, was really, really good. It's story, it's a little convoluted, but the fight scenes totally sold me on it.
Yeah, there's some good fights in there. Not to forget the old with the knuckle. I like that stuff. Anytime you put little details in, that's cool. And of course, he uses the metal balls as well, doesn't he? Like what do they call them? Is it the Tin Chin or Yin Yang balls? But yeah, anything like that, little details I always love in a Kung Fu movie. Just seems to give it a bit more flavor. But I think they used to be overlooked, those Lo Wei films. People never spoke highly of them. They were like all considered like failures. And it wasn't until he got to do his own thing, obviously, when Yuen Wu Ping, Ing Si Yuen, and Snake in the Eagle Shadow. But looking back now, especially when they've been restored like they have, I think actually these were made quite well. Was it as bad as what people think it was? And personally, I don't think so. I think there's some classic kung fu in those, and I'm glad they're getting the love and attention that they need.
Yeah. Another one I watched on the set, I made it a point to watch this one because Sean from Food for Thought, shout out to him, he highly recommended it, and it was Dragon Fist. I loved that movie.
Yeah, that is a wicked one, particularly wicked. I've always thought that's had like similar parallels to like Dirty Ho. There's I don't know what it is, but the end fight, it kind of just feels like Dirty Ho to me. Dragon Fist. If you watch them back to back, you'll see what I mean. There's kind of a similar feel. But that being said, you got more comedy in Dirty Ho and a more serious element in Dragon Fist. It almost feels more like a Bruce Lee film than a Jackie Chan film, just because of the serious edge to it. And yeah, I kind of like it. I like that, that feel back then. Even though he was like younger, I still thought it was quite impactful. And I like James Tien being in there as well. Always love seeing him pop up.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of James Tien. Dragon Fist, like Snake and Crane Arts, I thought it was a little convoluted, but like as the movie's going on, the fights are just like what's the word? They're just bonkers. Like they're so crazy, and then the like you said, the story it's abnormally dark for a Jackie Chan movie. But when I was watching it, I was like, dude, this is so intense. I love it. It's just, even if it's not conventional Jackie, I'm like, dude, this is just crazy. Like, I mean, it shows. I think it's kind of an early example of Jackie like really showing his range. He went on to become very, very heavily known for comedy, and in recent years he's shown his acting chops more. But back then, I think that's a super early example of that.
Yeah, absolutely. If people didn't realize back then when they saw that film, probably surprised a few people because there is dramatic performance in there, and with the soundtrack as well. I don't know about you, but I really love the soundtrack in Dragon Fist. I think it's really adds impact to the film, and yeah, the cast as well, because you've got Nora Mao in there, and I always love when she turns up on the screen, and she was in obviously Snake and Crane Arts of Shaolin too, and if I'm completely honest here, she was one of my earliest crushes ever. Hang on, that might be Sharon running up the stairs. Give me a clip.
Yeah, I love her too. She was always really great to watch.
What, Sharon?
Nora. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, we got another question from Eric. What do you think about Shout Factory Shaw releasing 11 movie volume 1? Yeah, I talked a little bit about that when I did the stream with Flip and Dragon and Sean. I'm looking forward to that because I think it's going to be a big eye opener for me because I haven't seen any of those movies on the set. There are two that I'm familiar with, which is Golden Swallow and Sword of Swords, both Jimmy Wang Yu films. So I'm eager to see what all the movies are because this is going to be an era of Shaw, like one of the earliest eras that I have virtually no idea about. So I for one am excited for that set.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that too because that sort of 60s sword play, you know, we have the wuxia sort of sword play. Those films are really, really good. I don't know if you know this, but Golden Swallow is actually a sequel to Come Drink With Me.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, because obviously Cheng Pei Pei, Golden Swallow, and we have Jimmy Wang Yu plays Silver Rock in it. And yeah, there's something about those films I like. It's like you know, one of the other things I've always liked is fantasy, and I always think when you get the sword play in those early like Shaw Brother films, even if it isn't, you know, littered with fantasy, there's that sort of feel to it because you know the jumping through the air, the you know all that stuff that they do. It's beyond what a normal person can do, and I just love the look and the feel, and I know Shaz is going to be so happy because she likes that kind of period, and I think she's just waiting now for you know T Lung and David Chang films. Hopefully, we're going to get a box set of those as well. So maybe Shout Factory might do Volume 2. Start looking into those guys because she absolutely loves them. What about you?
Yeah,
You big fan of those? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I love the Iron Triangle. Like T Long, David Chong, like they did some excellent movies. I watched it's been a few months, but I watched Vengeance, which is awesome.
Yes, nice and bloody.
Yes, I love Vengeance.
Yeah.
Whenever I was doing my video on Basher movies, that was on the list.
Yeah.
But then I shrunk it down, and so that didn't make my 5. But it's definitely going to be in my next one. I'm going to do more of those, and Vengeance is definitely on there.
Oh, I'm glad you're doing more because that was a good video, and I did enjoy that. Hiya. It's Pete. How you doing, Peter?
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I did have a one question, and this is for the uninitiated. So I mean, I obviously know the story. All your subscribers know the story, and people in the Asian cinema circle or the longtime members, of course, know the story. But tell us a little bit about Hong Kong and beyond.
Right. Okay. So when we started off, obviously we were under a different name. We were Hong Kong Blu-rays, and I think we were just perhaps coming out of COVID. I'm not 100% sure, but we were buying more and more physical media. I mean, we'd always collected, Sharon and I, and you know, DVDs first, then Blu-rays were becoming a thing, and boutique labels were sort of growing. And we just started ordering from overseas again, and we was kind of surprised at the amount of Blu-rays of Hong Kong movies that were remastered. Thought, my God, this is like boutique stuff. And we were looking, and it wasn't easy to find online on YouTube anybody reviewing the Blu-rays. I thought, there's a lot of people talking about like Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee and stuff like that, which there was. And really, I was just frustrated because I wanted to see something that was recommending everything else out there. And then Shaz was like, why don't you just do something yourself? Because you've talked about it in the past. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. And she's like, well, we'll look into it. So we did, you know, bit by bit. And we thought, okay, well, start this up. And yeah, that's initially what it was. We wanted to do what we thought was missing, but what we didn't know was that there were so many other people out there that had similar ideas. And of course, it was really, really lucky for us that we really early on met the Fanatical Dragon, and we had a conversation. I think it was hours long, like, and yeah, it was really nice to know that I wasn't, or we weren't alone in the world, that there's other people with a similar sort of attitude towards these films. And yeah, obviously meeting Big Brother Will as well was absolutely fantastic. And then I sort of said to Johnny, I said, why don't we just, reach out and see if we can, form some sort of group, which is why I came up with the ACC, Asian Cinema Circle. It just seemed funny at the time, but now it's kind of stuck, and it's kind of growing with the Facebook group as well. So I can't remember who it was. It might have been Johnny said like I'm the networking king or whatnot, which made me laugh. But I do like being inclusive, and I love having people I can chat with. As you well know, I'm always a bit of a leg puller, but I like to make everybody welcome. And there's been times where I thought, maybe I don't do the channel. Maybe I just run the ACC and get everybody else's channel out there, because I love what everybody does. But then you get addicted to doing your own channel too. So it might be a lot of time, but we really have grown to love it. Like, and I can tell you do when you do your videos. I can tell how much you love it. The passion's there on the screen, and I think that really, really counts for a lot. The enthusiasm, the passion, and the community. And on the whole, the community of people was absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that's what drives us to do the Hong Kong and beyond. And the beyond segment, if I may witter on a bit, because we like so many other films too, not just Hong Kong. We might like Singapore, Korea, Japan, but also some Italian Jello, some old British films. So we thought, just give ourselves that little window there, so that if there's something else we want to dive into, we can do it.
Yeah, that's really
that
cool.
Right?
Yeah, that's a great story. I really like that. And I appreciate you seeing passion in mine. I honestly don't I don't know. I'm super self-conscious, and I don't sometimes I don't think my videos turn out very well because they're super low quality, and a lot of my stuff is just one shot. I've gotten a lot better with editing, if I may say. So I'm trying to get to the quality that I feel is top notch. But I mean, I'm glad that you like it. I mean, if there's anybody that I'm trying to impress, you're definitely one of them.
Oh, that's cool. No, I mean, I can see the progression, and I think you've got it right. You're picking out topics that you enjoy, that you love. So, that gives you the motivation, and topics that other people love too. Us, we're a bit weird, and we go for like stuff that nobody's heard of, because that's our thing, so we'll try and unearth some really rare stuff, or some stuff that's been forgotten about. But it's good to have a mix, and all of us guys do something slightly different. Sometimes we all cover, like, if there's Shaw Brother movies, all of us love the Shaw Brother movies. But your enthusiasm for the kung fu, and now for the heroic bloodshed, is absolutely awesome. And yeah, I don't think any of us got anything to worry about, because we all support each other, and everybody's doing a damn good job, and we've had other members obviously in the circle as well. I mean, I really miss Al's channel. I don't know if you got to speak with Al, but he had Dem's Fighting Words, and I was gutted when he stopped, because he was a little bit like yourself with the Kung Fu and the Jackie Chan. And yeah, he was a lot of fun. And then also we've got Gary, who's really into the Kung Fu. And you've got Sid's a little bit like me with Cool Movie Graham. He's got a wide knowledge, as is Huss. Huss is a bad man. He's making me spend money on films that I never would have thought about. So I'm getting it in the neck, but I'm going to put that blame on Huss. So if you're watching, Huss, Shaz is after you. You're in trouble, dude.
Yeah. So I think I kind of feel that way towards Dragon, but only because he gets a lot of releases like super early. He just got like the In the Line of Duty set, and I was like, oh, like Dragon.
Yeah.
I was so mad,
Yeah,
but
I
happy.
know. I sometimes purposely don't watch some of his videos because I know if I do, I'll end up spending. So I'll wait till I got some money and then I'll watch it. And it's like, oh, that's okay. I can spend it now.
Yeah.
And also, this might make you laugh there. Today, what came? This is your fault.
Oh, look at
You did
that.
you did the unboxing video and then it popped up in the sale. And I'm like, I've got to get it now. Caleb's just unboxed it. It looks great. I really want it. Yeah, you spent a lot of my money,
It was
but
on
it's worth
sale
it.
though.
Yeah, it was on sale. We got the Arrow sale on over in the UK at the minute, and I found it for £89 on Amazon. So I was like, wow, now's the time. I'm having that. Yeah.
Yeah, when I bought mine, it was like $100 US.
So that's pretty good, pretty similar, I guess. You know,
Think so.
exchange rates, give or take. Yeah. But yeah, you got to get it when it drops because you never know when it's either A going to run out or B go up in price again, which can happen an awful lot.
Yeah, when I first started getting back into the kung fu movies, it was about 3 years ago, and it was with the release of the Bruce Lee set from Criterion. I saw that on
Nice.
Amazon. Yeah, I saw it on Amazon,
Mm.
and me being the big Bruce Lee fan I am, I saw it and I was like, oh crap, that's awesome. I gotta, and I was reading all the details about it and all the specs, and I was like, this sounds amazing. I need to get my hands on this. But at that time, it hadn't come out just yet. It was maybe a few weeks short of release, and oh man, it was probably around $100 at the time, but that was like the pre-order price. Excuse me, and then
Yeah.
a little bit after the release, it dropped to like 60 something dollars, and I was like, oh, that's it. I got to get it. It's probably never going to be that cheap again, and that's how it all started. Then I got to basically to where I am now, but it all started with that box set.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't pick that one up. I've been waiting and waiting, thinking we're going to get 4Ks. And also, and this will drive a lot of people mad now, but I've been waiting for them to get the full cut of the Big Boss. And some of those scenes people like they don't exist, but I know the Saw scene does exist. Uh, my dad and my two older brothers had seen it at the cinema, and the first time I ever watched it on Betamax rental, I remember distinctly was watching it, and they were like, "Oh, shield Leon's eyes," this bit, and they always used to something I couldn't see, put the hand over my eyes, and they're like, "Hey, hey," and they're like, "We wound it," and like, "What happened to the scene with the saw?" And that stuck in my head because I was thinking, "What scene with the saw?" And then my brother showed me the pictures in the magazine he had. I think it must have been Kung Fu Monthly, but it had a picture of the saw down somebody's head, and they were like, yeah, we saw it at the cinema up in where we used to live up north. So they have actually seen that, and some people tell me, "Nah, they didn't see it. It's never been shown in this country." And I'm like, well, I've 3 people react to the scene, and say, "Where's it gone?" So that to me is enough evidence, and I'm dying to see that reinstated. There is a rumor that it's going to be in the 4K that Arrow release, so we'll see.
Yeah, I heard about the fourth release. Unfortunately, I got a pass on it, and it's not that I'm not excited. I'm sure it's going to look great, it's like really, but I don't even have a 4K player, and then I've got the Criterion set. So for me, that's spending money that I don't need to spend right there. But that's just like one instance right there of that kind of thing happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have had that Criterion set, but it's one of those ones where I kept leaving it. Is it going to go down further? Then it started going up and up and up. I'm like, oh, bollocks. So I kind of missed the boat on it.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
so you mentioned you mentioned a little bit earlier that that whenever you first got into martial arts films, it basically started with Chuck Norris, right?
Film side, I would say probably it was Chuck Norris, but I was already into like Monkey on TV and The Water Margin and Kung Fu with David Carradine. And so then it might have been, I think it was Bruce Lee first, actually, because my brother put on, when Betamax video first came out, the first thing he bought was Enter the Dragon. And he put that on for me at a stupid young age. And I was, he wasn't supposed to. And he just said, oh, I'll just show you this bit at the beginning. And he put on the bit where Bruce fights Samo. And I was like, can I watch it? Can I watch it? And it was like, well, mum and dad are out at bingo. Put it on. So my mind was blown then. And then, yeah, Chuck Norris, obviously, I saw him in Way of the Dragon. And then my brother started hiring out Chuck Norris films. And he also managed to get hold of lots of Jimmy Wang Yu films back then as well. There's a ton of those released in this country. So I'll be watching stuff like Beach of the War Gods, One-Armed Boxer, Chinese Boxer, and films like that. And yeah, some Shaw Brother films back then as well. Obviously, Chinese Boxer and whatnot. And yeah, that was kind of an early initiation. And then I had the Ninja, the Van Damme thing, and just loved all that stuff. But yeah, Chuck Norris was an early influence for me. I really wanted to be Chuck Norris when I was at school. I know, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I was asking because Chuck Norris was like a really early one for me too. But when I first got into it, it was all Hong Kong movies, and then I mean I saw Chuck Norris in Way of the Dragon like most of us did, and then and my uncle was a big Chuck Norris fan, and then I remember seeing a few movies from Chuck that like my uncle just happened to have on. Like I think other than Way of the Dragon, I saw Sidekicks after that, which I still love, and then I think I watched I think after that I think I watched The Octagon, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh yeah, Ninja one. Yeah, I like that. That was one of my favorite ninja movies actually. And yeah, Richard Norton obviously was in the ninja outfit fighting Chuck in that as well, which is why we got such a good fight scene there. And yeah, it was all that sort of stuff. An Eye for an Eye as well. I like that one, and A Force of One, and oh, what else was there? I just really like those Breaker, Good Guys Wear Black, which obviously 88 films released recently. I just used to think, yeah, this guy, he's the man. Like, and as we know, he doesn't do push-ups; he pushes the earth down. I mean, who can beat that?
I have a I don't know if I showed you or not. For uh, for Christmas, my brother got me a calendar, and it's a Chuck Norris calendar, and it has just Chuck Norris
No,
facts each month. And
fantastic.
it's currently April. Like I'm looking at it right now. I can't turn the thing, but it for April it says Chuck Norris told the Bermuda Triangle to get lost.
Brilliant. Yeah, there's some cracking ones. Have you ever seen him delivering them as well? Oh, hi, Sean.
John, what's going on? Sorry, what was your question?
I don't know. It's part getting old, isn't that? What were we talking about? Chuck Norris, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the facts. It's gone. It'll either come back or not.
I think you asked me if I had seen something, but I didn't catch what you said.
It's going to be a Chuck Norris film, isn't it? I just got all excited when Sean popped up, and now it's gone.
Oh, Sean, see what you did. Just kidding. We love you. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I did want to I did want to talk a little bit about about Sidekicks, the Chuck Norris movie, because I remember because I bought the 4K Blu-ray from Vinegar Syndrome, and I don't have a 4K player like I said, but it has the Blu-ray with the 4K, so I was like,
Yeah.
it's got Blu-ray, I'm gonna buy it because I love Sidekicks, and I remember you and I talked a little bit about it. That movie gets a lot of it gets a lot of flack, rightfully so. It's not a perfect movie, but I saw that movie at a really early age, and it really spoke to me. You know, like kind of wanting to be like your hero or be your hero's best friend, that sort of thing. And you said yourself a moment ago that you really wanted to basically be Chuck Norris. And I think I didn't mean for the stream to kind of turn into an in defense of Sidekicks, but I think the movie's better than some people want to say it is. And then Jonathan Brandis, I thought was an excellent actor. I really missed that guy. But yeah, I think Sidekicks is a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. I really have a lot of love for Sidekicks, and when I was watching it, it did kind of make me laugh because I'm thinking, God, that was me as a kid. Here he is, he's distracting us again. Put some clothes on, Sean. It's just too much. Yeah, no, it is a fun film. I'd be interested to hear actually what Sean thinks on Sidekicks, but I thought it's aimed at kids, and like you said, it's somebody with his idol, and why not? You know, it's what we all do. We all sort of go into that world when we're young, and we imagine ourselves with said hero or person. And I thought it was a really clever film. Like you say, it's been a little bit mocked, but it was clever thinking at the time, and I think it was quite popular on video. And kudos to them. I think the idea of using all the scenes from his other films in one film was really good. And there's kind of elements to Sidekicks actually that I feel there's a match in Ride On with Jackie Chan, and you'll know what I mean when you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives me more incentive to check it out. Hopefully we get it soon. The but yeah, I mean, I personally, I mean, I know I definitely, used to think like, oh man, how cool would it be if Bruce Lee was still here and I was like his best friend, or I was the guy that he called if he needed to go, like go to Hans Island or something. Like, hey, I need you to come with me. Like, I mean, I used to imagine stuff like that. So yeah, so yeah, just I don't know, sidekicks really really kind of it resonated with me in a big way because of that.
Yeah, that's great. And I wouldn't mind going to Hans Island, but maybe for the party bit at the beginning, when it gets down to business, maybe not. I'll make an early exit. I mean, Bolo looks like he means business then.
Yeah.
And yeah, what an amazing time up for the books, eh? Well done, John Saxon.
Yeah.
I feel like the impersonations are going to break out in a minute. Don't call me Mr. Roper.
Yeah. It's it's funny. Every time I would see John Saxon in a movie like outside of Enter the Dragon, because Enter the Dragon was the first time I saw him, and then I would see him in other movies afterwards, like Nightmare on Elm Street, and she's great in that. So anytime I saw him in something after Enter the Dragon, I would always say, "Hey, it's Roper," and I did that with a lot of other actors, like like what was his name, Victor Wong, who was in Big Trouble in Little China. He was the grandfather in the Three Ninjas movies, and I saw the Three Ninjas movies first, and then I saw Big Trouble like afterwards. So anytime I saw Victor Wong, I go, "Hey, it's the grandpa from from Three Ninjas."
Ha! Yeah, that's cool. We all make those associations, and there's still a lot of actors I can't remember the names. I end up calling them by the characters even today, or you can't pronounce the name with some of the Hong Kong actors, so you give them another name. It's like one of the Shaw actors that Sharon really likes. She calls him Yoo-hoo. I think it's Yu Hua, but easier to say Yoo-hoo, so we know who we're on about. And yeah, it can be. I'm sure we're the source of a lot of amusement to people that speak the language, and what on earth is that bald guy saying? And I do have a friend at work actually, and he is Chinese, so obviously he's very fluent. I asked him a while back about Richard, and it's the initials NG. I said, how do you pronounce that? I
Yeah.
said, because I keep saying Ing, and he's like, no, it's not Ing. I said, well, what is it then? And he's like, it's Richard. I'm like, sorry. It's like, I'm like, Richard. I'm like, oh, I thought, no, I'm going to look stupid doing this. So I said, I think I'll just stick with Ing. So it's Richard Ing, carrying, just a lot easier to say, and hopefully nobody finds it offensive. But yourself, you end up doing lots of retakes, so sometimes you've got to make it a little easier for yourself. And also there's probably people that make those same associations with the names that we do, so when we say it, they're going to understand it because that's what they're used to it as. So hopefully it's harmless fun. If I'm wrong, anybody's welcome to correct me, and I will do my best to do better.
Yeah, I've pronounced it ing as well, but then I when I would hear what the correct pronunciation was supposed to be, I would say ung. So I tend to say ung more. And the first time I experienced that was with Philip Ung, who's in Once Upon a Time in Shanghai, which is an amazing movie. Have you seen that?
Great film. Great. I love that. I love the way it's like shot almost like monochrome, but the tiny bits of color, beautiful. And the Bruce Lee style fighting. What a great film.
Yeah, I did an episode of that on the podcast, and I was super excited because I love that movie so much, and I really wanted to talk about it. But it's yeah, that's a great movie. I like the I like all the like little Bruce Lee tributes in there. I'm not a big fan of Birth of the Dragon, the Bruce Lee biopic that Philip Ung did.
You
For
didn't like
me,
that? You didn't like it?
No, not really. Not really.
Okay.
I think
Well, that's the first time for you and me, I think. Well, we've disagreed on one because I actually quite like that one.
yeah,
But I think it's just because Philip's portrayal, he felt like he was capturing that cockiness, and I kind of dug that side of it. But
yeah. Okay, so
I can see where people would have a problem with it.
right. Okay. Yeah. So no, here's the thing with me though is that I like Philip Ung in that role. I'm not like it wasn't him. Like that wasn't the problem. I liked him. He did great. Like really, truly, I'm being honest here. He did really good, and I thought the fight scenes were solid. What I did like was the story. I like in the story, it was one of those things where the story just really killed it for me. A lot of times I can kind of forget the story if the fight scenes are really good, but I don't know, just for some reason I couldn't let that one go. So yeah, it's not my favorite thing.
Where do you stand on the portrayal of Bruce in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
That's a tough one. I think Mike Moe did a great job, like as far as the voice and the way he kind of carries himself. Like I think he did really good right there. I mean, he definitely looked like he was giving it his all. But I mean that portrayal wasn't quite right, and obviously it has not sat well with many people over the last few years. So I mean, I will give him props for giving the performances all, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on the way they presented him because I try to see it as it's maybe kind of satirical. I don't think it's meant to be taken
Yeah.
that seriously.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a film. I mean, at the end of the day, if they was doing a film and that film was about Bruce Lee, maybe I'd have took a bit more exception with it. But it wasn't about Bruce Lee, and it was a fairy tale essentially. So I was okay with it. When I realized what Tarantino was doing, I thought, okay, this guy's for a representation of the way Bruce talks, moves, all that stuff. And I thought, but he's having fun with it, and yeah, maybe a tad insensitive, especially like I know Shannon Lee got issues with it, and I can understand why. That's your dad. He's got massive legacy, but I don't think anybody that's a fan of Bruce Lee going to change their view on him because of that film. I think if you're a fan and you've like read up on him, you've watched all the hundreds of documentaries on him, which most fans have, then it's not going to change your opinion just because somebody makes a film. And I think that's important to keep that stuff compartmentalized and just put it aside and not take issue with it.
Yeah. Do you are you a fan of Brandon Lee's work? I'm sure you are, right?
I'll be honest with you. The day I found out he got killed on set, I cried, man. I loved Brandon Lee, and I was so gutted because right from the beginning, when I think the first thing I saw him in was he did like Kung Fu the movie with David Carradine, and
Yeah.
I knew Bruce Lee's son was going to be in it with David Carradine, and we watched that, and I was like, it didn't hit then. It was like just exciting that it was Bruce Lee's son. And then there was some German film he did called it's got different titles. Laser Mission. It's one of them. Soldier of Fortune was another. And I watched that, and again, there's a like little step up, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. Is he going to get something good? And then he did Legacy of Rage with Ronnie Yu, and obviously Manghoi was in that as well. And that film I really enjoyed, and I thought, wow, he's got acting chops, he's got the good looks, he's got some moves. And by the time we got around to Showdown Little Tokyo, I was completely sold. I love Showdown Little Tokyo, and the fact that he did some of his own lines for that he wrote them, because there's some great lines like, like, this is like a video game and you just took out the first wave, fantastic.
Yeah. I did an episode on Showdown Little Tokyo. Oh god, I think it's been about a year since, but or maybe
Yeah.
two. Yeah, it's been a while since I did that one, but when I did it, it was a lot of fun, like doing that episode, because I had my wife on there, obviously, and then I had two of my very good friends on there, and we just had a blast, like laughing about that movie, and I mean, I've got the Blu-ray, and I watch it frequently. I think it's a lot of fun. It's definitely something that you can just put on if you want to watch something like really quick and have a good time. Um, and Brandon was kind of a saving grace for me with that movie, because I remember when I first watched the movie, I was like, this movie is a lot of fun, but there are issues with it. Brandon, on the other hand, though, he is not the problem. Like for me, like he makes it worthwhile. My friends didn't quite agree with me, but that's fine. It just depends on what you're into. But for me, he was definitely a saving grace for that movie. Same with Kerry Tagawa, but I'm a huge Mortal Kombat fan, and he's Shang Tsung, so
Hmm.
so like he was also a saving grace for me. But yeah, Brandon's lines and his comedy and just his sense of humor and all that, it definitely made me a fan of that movie. That was the biggest thing. I thought Dolph Lundgren was kind of bland in the movie, so I think I think Brandon was the real standout there.
Yeah, I think even though Dolph was headlining it, because Brandon hadn't done any like Hollywood films at that time, I think he was definitely the main draw. But I did like the interactions between the two of them. I thought that really made me like attracted to the film. I thought it was just funny, and I think Dolph needed Brandon there to give him, something to bounce off to make his performance a little bit better. And yeah, I just really enjoyed that film. Best line though. What's your favorite line from it?
Favorite line from Showdown?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
Come on, give it me
uh
in character as well. I need it.
okay. Let me think. Hang on. Oh geez, there's so many. It's not the it's not the one. I'll say it's not the one with Dolph Lundgren's groin. It's not that one. um, uh, yeah. Oh man. Okay, actually, yeah, okay, yeah. But this is my favorite scene is when they go to the club like the first time, like Brandon and Dolph go to the club, and then they go to the back, and then all of Kerry Tagawa's like gangsters, like they all got their guns pointed at him, and Dolph is pointing his gun at Kerry's character because he realizes that that's the guy who killed his parents when he was a kid. So he's got his
Yeah.
yeah, he's got his gun like pointed right at Kerry Tagawa's head, and like they're talking. It's supposed to be like super intense, and then Brandon like like the kind of look on his face. Brandon's like he's probably thinking, okay, this is ridiculous, and then he pulls out his badge and he's like looking at the other guys. He's like, cop, policeman, you understand? It's bad to shoot. He's a cop too. It's bad to shoot him. And they're not saying a word. They're just at him, and then he's like, "Shit." That's probably my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, that is perfectly timed, isn't it? I think for me, it's the one where I think it's idiots in between cooking cycles. You're supposed to baste us.
Yes, that is also that's great. My friends and I laugh really hard at that scene.
That's the last thing you want to say when you're in that predicament. Not that I've ever been in that predicament, luckily.
Not yet. Yeah.
It may happen, yeah. It depends how many people we can upset on the live stream.
Yeah. So yeah. Glad to see everybody else having fun. Yeah. So yeah, what do you you've probably given your opinion on this before, but what do you think about rapid fire? I think that is like Brandon's magnum opus right there. Even though he didn't get to do much, sadly his life was cut short, unfortunately. But for me, like I think rapid fire is like top notch. Like it's if you want to see him like do it all, it's in that one. The Crow, yeah, he does it all in that too. But I mean, the Crow, as much as I love it, I think it kind of overshadows Rapid Fire. I think Rapid Fire is a little underestimated.
Rapid Fire is my favorite Brandon Lee film, without a shadow of doubt. It's just the story, the simplicity of it, and you've got the interactions with Powers Booth being like that father figure for him, and then obviously everybody knows who Al Leong is, and we've seen him in bit roles here and there, and we've always been thinking, what can this guy do? What can this guy do? And then he comes down the steps. You've got that music, and then Brandon squaring off against him. Every time the hairs stand up on my neck. I love that scene. That is, a favorite fight scene of mine. It didn't make my top 5, but of Brandon's, that is my top fight scene. I really love that. There's quite a lot of Wing Chun moves in there as well, which I appreciate. And yeah, I just think the whole mood, the setting, the lines, the story, it's perfect. I remember going to cinema to see it, and I just came out with the biggest smile on my face ever. And even just watching Laserdisc just before Christmas, yeah, I still get that buzz from Rapid Fire. Great classic film for me.
Yeah, I did. Trying to think when I watched it. I watched it a couple months ago too. It wasn't that long ago. But there is a there's a really funny moment in that one, and it's I'm sure you know what it is. It's whenever the dirty FBI agents are trying to kill him in the apartment, and he hides in the closet, still frame. They like digitally add the bullet holes into the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what
it works for me though. Yeah, no, it's a class film, and the soundtrack as well. Hardline, they did the few of the songs for it, and I think that sort of 90s rock. I really love that stuff, and yeah, it just works, doesn't it? And yeah, going on to another person though, I don't think I've ever asked you this, so I'll be kind of interested to hear because she's getting a lot of attention at the minute. What is your favorite Cindy Rothrock film?
Ooh, Cynthia, yes. Hmm.
Jason will want to know this because you know how protective he is over Cynthia.
I love Cynthia. Um, I the first thing I think of is Righting Wrongs, but that's more a Yun Bu film. But Cynthia's got a huge part in it, obviously. Um,
He's great.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I think I gotta say Blonde Fury.
Yeah, yeah, I like that
Yeah,
one, and I
I think
think
I
a
got.
lot of people are gonna be in for a surprise.
Yeah, yeah. That is coming out soon from Eureka,
Mm.
which is exciting. And then I haven't seen this one, at least not all of it. Sworn to Justice looks like it's a pretty fun movie, and it's got Kurt McKinney from No Retreat, No Surrender, and I like Kurt McKinney. I think he's a really talented guy. And Vinegar Syndrome released it a few months back. That's a movie that I really want to check out.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got a few saucy bits in it as well, which I didn't expect. It's in my mum's DVD collection because the senior consultant, she loves Cynthia Rothrock. If you look at her DVD collection, it's Cynthia Rothrock, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal. Oh, and Scott Atkins now.
Yeah, yeah. My
Mm.
my wife is a huge fan of Scott Adkins. I'm pretty sure I've brought that up before. And then every year around her
Yeah.
birthday, we do a Scott movie because that's like her favorite guy, and she always wants to talk Scott Adkins. And so on the podcast, like, okay, December is Amber's month, and she always wants to do a Scott Adkins movie. So December is basically Scott Adkins month for us.
I mean, wasn't he magnificent in John Wick 4?
Yes, he was awesome.
Yeah. I was quite blown away by his performance, actually. I mean, we all know he can do the moves, but bringing that sort of character to a role, it just kind of lit up that section of film. And I was like, wow, this is something different from him. I really, really like it.
Yeah, I'm actually doing a. I believe I told you already, but I'm my next video after we do the stream obviously is going to be 5 essential Scott Adkins movies, because there is a lot of really great movies of his, and and his popularity is starting to get starting to go up a few notches because of John Wick. And so I figured this would be a good opportunity to kind of show off some other movies he's done, because there are some great ones out there.
That's great thinking ahead. I like that. And don't ruin it here because I want to watch the video. So keep that secret for now.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna give my list here. But yeah, uh, so there is another thing, and it's going back to our most recent crossover, uh, the last Kumite that's coming out at some point. They haven't started filming yet. I think the movie's still in pre-production. Do you have any thoughts on that? Obviously, I told everyone what I thought of it in my video, and you popped up in there, but that was just so we could poke fun at each other. But I am curious, what do you think of that? Do you have any anticipation for it?
To be honest, I only know what you've told me so far, so you're my source for that one, and I am looking forward from what you said in your video. I thought, yep, this sounds right up my street. So I'm keeping my ear close to the ground, and I'm also relying on Caleb's Kung Fu Cinema to fill me in on in more details. Um, but yeah, I love that sort of film. I love Bloodsport so much back in the day, and anything with that sort of tournament kung fu, I absolutely adore. And it feels like it's been sadly missing in recent years. I know we had the return of Mortal Kombat, but I felt like perhaps the original one was a bit more of a tournament film. As you know, like obviously we've got Enter the Dragon and then we've got Bloodsport. I always like Best of the Best. Have you seen that one, Best of the Best?
No, but I've watched like fight scenes from it. I do that a lot. If there's a movie I haven't seen, I've seen a fight sequence at least, and so I've seen that.
Yeah,
It looks a lot of fun.
that's a great film. Yeah, really good film. I remember reading a review on it in a video magazine, and it said, "Oh, what we got here? Another martial art film." I said, "But hang on a minute. There's more to this than just martial arts." So that immediately piqued my interest, and yeah, I think Philip and Simon Ree, who are the brothers within the film, I think they've been like sorely overlooked over the years because they had
Yeah,
some sharp skills in them, really sharp skills. And I was surprised when they didn't do more with Philip Ree. They kind of let the best of the best films peter out with lower budget, lower budget, lower budget. And number two, it was fantastic as well because he was the focus. And I thought you can make a megastar out of this guy. You could make like a Green Hornet film with him, or do a Game of Death that's never been completed with him. And I always wanted to see him do that because to me he was an ideal martial artist that had that sort of style. So I was always really gutted when I felt like we just missed the ball with that, like we do with some martial artists and actors. And it's a shame when those opportunities are missed because what could have been.
yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way with like tournament movies. I am a sucker for those. I love movies that have tournament settings. Like I watched Battle Creek Brawl on my Jackie Chan set, the Shout one. I watched that, and that movie is really dumb, but it had a tournament, and so I was like all in. It's got a tournament. I'm cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is a fun film. One of the best
Yeah,
roller skating segments ever as well.
I agree. Um but yeah, when I was when I was when I was when I was in high school, I started training in mixed martial arts. I don't do it anymore, but at the time I did, and a couple of friends that I trained with, we spent like many weekends and summers together just training, and we would watch a lot of martial arts movies. One thing that we watched all the time was Bloodsport, and it's funny because I didn't think Bloodsport was that great, but it's got a tournament, and it's got the and it's
Yeah.
got like all the different fighting styles. And so yeah, Bloodsport was a big one for me, and I watched it a couple of weeks ago, and it's still, I mean, it's still a pretty fun movie.
Yeah, I've always liked Bloodsport. Firehouse roller skating. That's right.
Yeah,
It's always nice when you see that other people have like similar film experiences to you. And yeah, but getting back to Bloodsport, and I'm going to drop an absolute bomb here and just wait for the backlash. It's going to be massive. I actually preferred the martial arts in Bloodsport too. How did that slip out?
I watched I watched Bloodsport too. I think it's been about a year. I have a DVD set of all four Bloodsport movies, and and when I got that, I bought it because I was doing an episode on the first Bloodsport, and so I needed a copy of it because I couldn't find it anywhere. And I always watch movies before I do the podcast so that I can take notes and know what I'm talking about, and it's fresh on my mind. So I needed a copy of it, and I found a DVD set. It's got all four Bloodsport movies, and so I was like, okay. I've never seen any of the sequels. For the longest time, I didn't know there were any sequels. So I bought that set, and I just had a Bloodsport marathon after that. And I actually kind of liked the second one. It's not great. It's certainly not better than the first in some ways, but I still had fun with it.
It's colourful, isn't it? There's some really, they've got a variety of martial arts in there, and I think that's what I like. You've got a big mix of martial artists. There's a lot of colour to it, and it's just a lot of fun. I thought the pacing of it was quite good. 3, I didn't like so much. 4, I've never seen actually, so you have to tell me about that sometime. But tournament-wise as well, have you seen Kickboxer 4? I only just seen it recently.
Not recent. I haven't seen it recently. It's been a long time, but I have seen it before. Yeah, I know it's got that tournament setting and it's got all the different styles.
Yeah.
But it's so long.
Yeah, it was it kind of surprised me because obviously the film isn't great, but I don't know. There's something about watching those older films that aren't great that have that setting, and you can see them trying. And I think again, Sasha Mitchell, yeah, he's not Van Damme, obviously, you know, and Kickboxer 2, 3, and 4 can't live up to Kickboxer, which is for me one of the all-time classics, and you know, probably my favorite Van Damme flick. But I thought he made steps with every film, and even though the film quality slid, I thought he was getting better in each one. So it's like, it's kind of, you know, sad that maybe they didn't cultivate him a little bit different as well, because I thought he could act, and I thought the martial arts was coming, but I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I'm wrong on a lot of things, but yeah, I found it interesting to go back and revisit that.
Yeah. I'm actually this is a bombshell for me. I'm not a big fan of the kickboxer movies. Like I prefer Bloodsport. I'm a I'm a
Yeah,
Bloodsport
I
guy.
remember you saying. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about when it's slightly different and we get, say, the Cyborg movies?
Cyborg. I haven't seen
Because you got
Cyborg.
you haven't seen Cyborg? Oh, right, okay. Well, there you go, my son. There is the next project for you, Cyborg Nemesis. A good fix of all those cheesy 90s martial arts with sci-fi in.
Yeah. Yeah. Jason.
I
Jason from
think you'll enjoy it.
maybe so. Yeah.
I think you'll
J-
enjoy them. Mm.
yeah. Jason from Martial Arts Theater 3000. Shout out to him. He told me about Cyborg and his description of it was hilarious. So I do plan to check it out at some point.
Yeah. There was yeah, a few incidents on set with that as well, I think. I think a couple of nasty injuries, but yeah, it's got its own feel, and I think I may be wrong on this, but I think it was supposed to have been the set for Masters of the Universe 2, and they ended up making Cyborg instead,
I've heard that too.
which yeah, you have. Oh, good, good. I didn't know whether it's just my mind playing tricks on me, but I thought I'd heard that, and yeah, I mean, I like Cyborg, but there's another Albert Pyun film called Nemesis with Olivier Gruner in, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, Olivier Gruner. And that one I actually really liked. And unfortunately for Shaz, I bought a box set of all four of those, and I made her watch 2, 3, and 4, and I'm still not sure she's forgiven me.
Yeah. Yeah, I do know Olivier Gruner. He first time I saw him was in what was it called? Angel Town, I think.
Ah,
I had a VHS of it like way back in the day. So
yeah,
yeah, you know who he is, but I haven't seen Nemesis.
yeah. And of course, Angel Town, I think, if I remember rightly, we got one of the Three Thunders from Big Trouble Little China, Peter Kwong in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember now. Let's see, one involved. Yeah, with yeah, I do know that story with Cyborg. A guy lost his eye during a fight scene, which was nasty.
Yeah, just brought it up for us. Thank you, Peter, for that. Yeah, that is a shame when stuff like that happens on set, but yeah, I guess it's parcel the territory, you know, that they're working in. And we've all seen those outtakes on many a Hong Kong film, not just Jackie's. And Will puts up quite a lot of this going wrong on his Twitter quite often. And yeah, there's been some amazing incidents throughout the years. But you know, what a sacrifice to give us entertainment.
Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. Yeah, it's great. And obviously, like we said, this first time we're just shooting the but if we get more people in, if they're up for it, then maybe we can pick a topic and then create a bit of structure going forward. And maybe some of your viewers might have topics they might want us to cover, which would be fantastic. It's always nice to have like viewer picks.
Yeah, definitely. And this is hopefully this is the first of many Asian Cinema Circle streams. gotta get more of the guys in here. Leon was originally gonna be on a podcast episode of mine, but the what's the word I want to use? I guess I'll say the mechanism that involves having someone on the podcast when they're not actually with you. It's lacking. I'll just say that. I'm not gonna dive back into it, but I had a situation with Jason, and it resulted in me having to call him directly just to get the episode done. We can't do that together, obviously, because you live across the pond. We'd have to take out of our life savings to do that.
Yeah, that ain't happening. We'll figure it out at some point, I'm sure. And maybe somebody watching might give us a pointer and say use this. So hopefully we'll get there in the end and do that as well. But I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much for having me on, Kaleb. Really appreciate it.
Love to see creators bridging the gap and getting together.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I love doing this too. Ever since I did that stream the other day with Flip and Dragon and Sean, it was so much fun. I was like, I figured out how to do this, and so I need to do more of them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting mixed in with the guys as well. And this stuff, we love doing it. We always have conversations. People probably don't know, but we have a big messenger group, and I think it's you, me, and Jason quite often go off on one, and we do a lot of impersonations, Arnold Schwarzenegger and whatnot. Should we chuck one in or not? What do you think? Just before we go.
Yes, yeah. I almost forgot.
Lace for breakfast, and right now I'm dirty hungry.
Yes. I'm glad you remembered, because I completely forgot. I was like, we are going to do that. That was good though. That was good. Oh man.
On your turn.
My turn. Okay. That's I'm trying to think. There's like so many. There's so many to pull from. It's let me think. One of my favorites is in it's, the Running Man, when he's like he goes, "Hey, Christmas tree."
Yeah, that guy definitely was a Christmas tree, wasn't he? Old Dynamo. Yeah.
Oh man, when I first
excellent.
Yeah, get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper. Get to the chopper.
Yeah. Real quick though,
how many hours have we wasted doing this?
Sorry, go ahead.
When we've been on the messenger, just sending voice messages all the time, we've spent many an hour doing that.
Yeah, just doing impressions. I did want to say real quick, whenever I first heard that line in The Running Man, the Christmas tree, I heard that, I laughed so hard, and my wife was sitting there and she was laughing too. She thought it was funny, but what got me was I told her, I said, we just saw a grown man call another grown man a Christmas tree. Like, where else are you gonna hear that?
Yeah, and it only works with Arnold. He's king of the one-liners, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, anyway, again, this was a lot of fun, and we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, Leon, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
And I appreciate you having me. It's been a lot of fun, Kaleb, and I hope we get it on again soon.
Yeah, so before we go, everybody, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, of course, and subscribe to Leon's channel, Hong Kong and Beyond. And if you're on Facebook, we have an Asian Cinema Circle Facebook group, so make sure you check that out, and follow all of us on Instagram. We all interact a lot, obviously, so you don't want you want to make sure you follow and subscribe so you don't miss any of it. There are more crossovers coming between Leon and I very soon. The rivalry is going to continue.
Yeah, we're trying to get our acting skills sharpened, so keep an eye out, guys. You never know when we're going to pop up or where.
Yeah. So, yeah, that is it. Thank you, everybody. And Leon, thank you once again.
Cheers, my man. I will catch you soon.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye.